The Texas Parks and Wildlife television series is funded in part by a grant from the Wildlife and Sport Fish Restoration Program. Through your purchases of hunting and fishing equipment and motorboat fuels, over $50 million in conservation efforts are funded in Texas each year. And by Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation, helping to keep Texas wild with the support of proud members across the state. Find out more at tpwf.org. Additional funding provided by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. Coming up on Texas Parks and Wildlife.
I mean, this isn't rocket science. We have to keep the pastures in good shape for the cattle, and we have to keep the pastures in good shape for the wildlife.
People just connect with the outdoors and with nature, and if they've never had that before, it can be life-changing.
The cypress trees and the Spanish moss have an ethereal feel to it.
Texas Parks and Wildlife, a television series for all outdoors.
Why are the cows at the Parks Ranch so excited? They're getting ready to rotate. David Crow owns the Parks Ranch and runs the cattle operation.
The cattle move so easily, they're so used to this. You can just sound the siren, open the gate, and they know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to get a bite of fresh grass.
Hey, bull! Get out here.
David's son Matt helps out too.
Hey, bully. Hey! Get out of here.
And Matt's dog Dee, she likes to supervise.
Dee. We're putting a product into the food chain, which we take very seriously here. We purchased the ranch in 2000 from the Parks family, who held the ranch since 1860. They've got a lot of history, and we didn't feel like we needed to change the name. When we bought the ranch, it had been leased out for hunting and grazing for 27 years. That's a blue-winged teal? Mm-hmm. The good news is the ranch really wasn't abused during that time, but it really wasn't managed either.
The main habitat type is coastal prairie. It was in a condition at the time of acquisition in 2000 where it was deteriorating fairly rapidly. Brush encroachment was advancing, and without immediate response from the landowner, this would be a woodland, it would not be a grassland.
To beat back the brush, David uses a 1-2 punch of herbicide and prescribed fire.
2 years of aerial application, and now we're growing the fuel in here. I think the fire will do a great job.
It's going to be a major improvement. You're going from a very dense brush community to an open grassland, which is the target that we have of restoring coastal prairie.
To help hit that target, David got a boost from a program that helps landowners balance the needs of running a ranch and protecting the prairie.
The Coastal Prairie Conservation Initiative was a perfect example of when you have private landowners and public offices working together in partnership.
Look how open it is.
Yeah. It helped us fast track everything we put together here.
With the brush in check, David developed 10 pastures, 15 miles of water line, 20 troughs, and a loop road to keep an eye on it all.
The rotation method has kept us from having to take drastic measures during droughty times. It's kind of like you're almost banking grass. You always have a pasture to move into. You know, we just rotated out of this pasture about 2 weeks ago. It really responds well.
There are just so few native grasslands left along the coast. So the species which use these grasslands, there'd be less of them without the work that's being done on this ranch and others just like it.
It's pretty simple. I mean, this isn't rocket science. We have to keep the pastures in good shape for the cattle, and we have to keep the pastures in good shape for the wildlife. They are really a complement to one another. The ranch is our factory, the cattle are part of the factory, the wildlife's part of the factory, and everything has to click together.
You get here and you see the broad open landscape of grasslands, and you see it in the eyes of the wildlife which need these grasslands. And this is a very impressive place.
I think one of the biggest detractors to wildlife is fragmentation of habitat. To be able to hold this ranch together is extremely important.
Go get it.
I'm pleased that my son has chosen his career in this business as well, because that means at least we're good for another generation.
The Community Outdoor Outreach Program, co-op for short, is designed to get underrepresented people outdoors and involved in Texas Parks and Wildlife programs and just being involved.
We're really blessed to be in a relationship with Darlene. She is the heart and soul of the co-op program.
For me, it was about building relationships. And so it was getting to know them, you know, really what they were interested in doing with their kids, what was their long-term goals for their programs, and see how Texas Parks and Wildlife fit into that mission.
Until you get to actually see the programs and see what happens and how it affects the people, I mean, you just can't even imagine the impact it has. People just connect with the outdoors and with nature, and if they've never had that before, it can be life-changing.
What Darlene does is she has a vision for that. You know, it's not just let's give out grant money, let's change lives.
Get him, Danny. Hold on to it.
Knowing these resources are available over here, that this organization has no clue that exist, and pairing the two together, oh, there's no better feeling than that.
My Fitbit is going, yay, go girl! Get extra points.
In 2011, the funding for the program was cut. So we had no grant money available for 2 years. And even more devastating, we had to lay some of our staff off, and that was really tough for all of us.
I was one of the people that got reduction in force, which is a kind way to say, you need to go look for another job. We don't have any money to pay you.
In that period of time, when we went without a grant during that time, I wouldn't say we floundered, but we struggled massively.
It was the first time in the history of the program the funding had ever been cut. So it was a big shock to us all the way around. We've had reduction in funds before, but we'd never just been totally wiped out.
In 2013, we did get a good portion of our money back.
We were able to bring back some of those staff members. To have that family back together, it was just a really nice feeling.
If it hadn't been successful, it hadn't been making a difference, I don't think people would have pushed for it. But they did push for it, and it's back, and we're doing great.
Purpose. It's given me a purpose. When you have a program like this and you see all the need, it's just a natural fit. I just love it. It's who I am.
This is the quarterly status report. I know you're hungry, but bear with me, we're almost done.
Personally, I don't think the co-op program would be in existence without her. She has put her heart and soul into this program. It really has become a part of who she is.
I hope I've done something where I can, you know, when I'm floating up to heaven, say, okay, I did pretty good. I am going to heaven.
There are few places left that have not been largely touched by our culture. But at Kickapoo Caverns State Park, nature is almost untouched, the way it used to be.
It's a great place to just get away from it all. You can unplug from all the distractions in the city. We've got approximately 6,400 acres and lots to do. We've got birding, hiking, mountain biking. It's just a great place to get away from it all and just get back in touch with nature.
See the scrub jays?
Much of the beauty of Texas is hidden. To see it, you have to work for it, sometimes catching only a fleeting glimpse.
Way back in
Over 230 species of birds have been seen in this park.
We get a lot of birders from all over the country. They've read about it. We've got a lot of diversity here, and they're here a lot of times to fill their life list, whether they're looking for the black-capped vireo or the golden-cheeked warbler. We've got them both here, so it's a great place for birding.
Jessica Klassen is a graduate student at Texas A&M University, studying the endangered golden-cheeked warbler.
Here is one of our golden-cheeked warbler nests. They make their nests out of the strips of ash juniper bark. So the little clump up there of ash juniper that you see at the canopy of the tree is our golden-cheeked warbler nest, and directly below it is you'll see our camera that we're using to monitor the nest with. But we like to disturb them as little as possible, so we stay at the nest site for as short a period as possible.
By using an infrared camera and remote recording unit, Jessica is able to monitor the bird nest without disturbing it.
We've been seeing nestling type behavior, so we've seen both males and females carrying food, which we can infer would be to hungry nestlings in a nest.
Enter the darkness of the subterranean wonder of Kickapoo Cavern and witness roughly 4 million years of nature's artistic handiwork.
If y'all see this formation, it's pretty cool.
This is what you call being deep in the heart of Texas.
You got twin columns. One column on your right is the largest column in the state of Texas. It's 80 feet high, which is a little over 8 stories. You can see the different colored drapery off of it, all the jellyfish looking stuff. I see Mother Nature at its best. Nature's little miracle.
The intrigue of the park lies as much above the ground as below. Stewart Bat Cave teams with Mexican free-tailed bats.
The bat flights are pretty spectacular. They are 500,000 bats here at the cave. It takes approximately an hour and a half for all the bats to get out of the cave.
In our ever-expanding, fast-paced world, it's wonderful to know a place like Kickapoo Cavern State Park exists.
It's a really beautiful place, and we're trying to keep it that way. We're trying to keep it as natural as possible. It's a great place to just get away from it all and enjoy a part of Texas a lot of people have never seen.
Cattle Lake is unique because it is the largest bald cypress swamp in the South, if not in the United States. Paddling trails here on Cattle Lake will get you back into some habitat that is just not everywhere. It's unique. It gets you into a place that you may have never seen before. We have 5 trails here on Cattle Lake. We have Hell's Half Acre, Carter Chute Trail, the Cathedral Trail, Turtle Shell Trail, and the Old Folks Playground Trail. Okie dokie. To get the people out here and to experience that uniqueness, the trails really help us do that. Really get to experience the surroundings and the sounds.
Right over the green stuff there, you can just see its head. There's a great white egret over there. I've lived in Marshall most of my life, which is, I'm almost 70 years old. What's interesting, I guess, is the age and the beauty of the cypress trees and the Spanish moss. It has kind of an ethereal feel to it. You can't really experience Caddo unless you get out on it.
I think everything about it is unique. You can't find this, well, really anywhere else. All the network of canals and the swampiness of it, and the way it attracts the birds. I just feel real close to the earth when I'm here.
Caddo Lake is different every season. You can't just come one season and see it all. It is different every day. You got to get out on the boat, you got to get in the swamp, and you really got to sit down and you got to sit and listen. It's beyond words to describe how wonderful this place is. It's just unreal.
There is a shift going on in Texas. More and more people are moving from the country to the big cities and sprawling suburbs. And many of those folks don't have a place to get away, a place to go fishing. But there is a program underway to change that.
Make it easy, convenient, and close to home.
It's the Neighborhood Fishing Program.
I'm almost getting a bath.
And now city lakes throughout the state are stocked year-round.
You want to have those fish there for them to catch, because that's what's going to get them hooked.
Our goal with the Neighborhood Fishing Program is to bring the focus back to the outdoors.
The plan is to get more city folks grabbing the pole again and heading for the pond.
I think they'll be coming momentarily, because they said between 9 and 9:30.
Effie Dukes and her husband David are waiting.
Yeah, look, they're coming with the fish.
Some of them are going in maybe at 14 inches, and they're pretty healthy. The hatchery does a great job of getting ready.
Now we'll catch something.
Another one here.
We'll catch the big one.
What we try to do is to actually bring fishing close to home, and most people in Texas are moving into bigger and bigger towns.
Right.
Having these opportunities in your backyard basically is what it's all about.
Yeah, got a big one.
That's what I'm talking about. While Effie's husband has the touch, her goal is to stay slime-free.
I use gloves to put the worms on. I don't want to touch them, they're squirgly. I have wet wipes, but he said real fisher people don't use wet wipes or plastic gloves. But I told him I'm not a real fisherwoman, I'm just, out here to enjoy the outside. Look, Pastor Bird got one already. Yay.
The program is designed to actually kind of recruit new anglers and get people fishing. And it's pretty much, we want to provide a perfect outdoor experience, with fishing being the main point.
And as for Effie, she finally catches that fish and stays clean at the same time.
Got it! Look! Hey! It's a big catfish, and I caught it with a net, with the help of my husband, with the rod and reel that I don't know how to use.
In South Houston at Tom Bass Pond, the bite is about to get really good.
You teach a child to fish, you feed them for a lifetime, all right?
While this truck will bring trout in the winter, it's summer, and there's catfish aplenty.
Okay, let's learn how to put our own bait on. Who wants to put their own bait on?
There you go, go in the end.
There he is. Push it on.
Try to push it all the way.
Squeeze him, he ain't hurting.
What is that that's coming out?
Worm stuff.
Worm stuff? Don't worry about it. Each child that participates in these types of activities will develop or have the opportunity to develop a lifestyle. That's something that they can go back home with and say, take me fishing.
Right there. When you're trying to introduce kids to fishing,
Is he still alive?
yes, he is. They really need to have
a good probability they're going to catch a fish. One little touch.
I love you.
See? So there's a fishery here pretty much year-round that people can count on. First fish of the day.
These children may never see the rainforest, but they can appreciate what is near to them, and that is most important.
There you
go, you got one.
Look at it come out here just in a few minutes. Let's go. Come on. I got it. Come on. How'd you do that? That's not fair.
When you're out here, it's very relaxing. And then when you can have your kids out here with you, that's so cool.
So where do all these fish come from? Well, hatcheries throughout the state raise and stock thousands of catfish and trout every year. Here at Possum Kingdom, the majority of the work goes to raising these hungry catfish. One pond holds up to 6,000.
We raise them up all the way up to 12 inches, and it usually takes several months to a year to get them up to size.
With the help of city, county, and corporate sponsors, the hatcheries can raise the thousands of fish needed for the program. These are heading for city lakes in Waco and San Angelo.
The small bodies of water that we stock in the cities, they typically don't have real stable quality fisheries in them. It's pretty much a necessity, this program, if we want to reach out to the urban angler.
In the heart of San Angelo, rainbow trout have just been stocked in Oaks Street Lake.
This spot in particular is real close to downtown. It's close to a lot of residential areas.
So as far as you can.
This was basically a perfect spot for neighborhood fishing program.
Local Charles Cruz
Dad, yours looks like it's moving.
and his daughter Cameron are here to try their luck.
Look, something looks like something's messing with mine. Sometimes he tries to get me to touch him. I just don't want to, though.
I think that's real good for her to be able to experience outdoors like I did when I was younger.
Hold on, I think I caught a stick.
I think this generation, for some reason, is getting away from that.
I can't get the stick off either.
And I'd like to do my part by at least trying to bring my daughter out as much as I can.
The Powered Bay and the corn looks gross together.
With the neighborhood fishing program, we're trying to get kids excited about the outdoors again.
Get it? Look, someone's getting it.
That they will grow up and become people that want to protect natural resources.
Is it a big one?
Medium.
Perfect. How'd you like?
I'm trying.
It'll always be our time together. Even if you don't catch anything, it's just nice to have that little bonding moment that you have with your kids. And I think that right there is worth more than catching any amount of fish.
Either for kids
We got another one here,
or for kids at heart.
and I haven't fished in about 25 years. But this is a lot of fun, and we'll be back again.
No matter the age, there's sure to be a stocked city pond nearby where good times are just a cast away.
Oh, that's a huge one.
This project was funded in part by a grant from the Sport Fish Restoration Program.
This series is funded in part by a grant from the Wildlife and Sport Fish Restoration Program. Through your purchases of hunting and fishing equipment and motorboat fuels, over $50 million in conservation efforts are funded in Texas each year. And by Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation, helping to keep Texas wild with the support of proud members across the state. Find out more at tpwf.org. Additional funding provided by Ram Trucks. Guts, Glory, Ram.